Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm back with yet another beat tutorial. Today we're going to be making a Menoh type beat. I've been following him for quite some time now on social media, and ever since Lil Skies and Ladan Cube dropped a song called Red Roses, produced by him, he's been working with more and more artists, but mainly he sticks to producing for Lil Skies. His style is quite melodic, often includes piano melodies combined with some bells and or leads. The drums, as far as I've heard, are quite bouncy, but in my opinion what makes him stand out are definitely the melodies that he makes. In this tutorial we're going to be using plugin Nexus and KBZ specific drum kit as well as KC Supreme Parallels drum kit, and I'll leave a link in the description where you can buy them, and also I'll leave a link to Menoh's SoundCloud so you can go and check out his work and follow him there. First and foremost, the beat that we're going to be making will be quite up-tempo, so let's set the BPM to around 163. Let's get started with the melody. The piano that I'm going to be using is from Nexus preset pack called Cold Beats. I'll try to keep the melody quite simple. You don't really need to know the music theory to make good melodies. There are quite a lot of tools in FL Studio like melodic scales, etc. So just experiment in the piano roll. Honestly, that's what I and a lot of other producers do. Just remember that the white grid is in key and just click in notes and try to make something that sounds good. Alright, so here is the melody that I've come up with. It's quite simple, but it sounds nice, and that's what we are going for. On this piano, I've added EQ and dragged down this knob so that the piano sounds clean and doesn't interfere with the 808s. I've also added fruity delay and turned down the volume to 3. What I usually do is I add half speed right away on the melody and disable it, and later on when I'm mastering the beat I add an automation clip of the gross beat and either adjust it to 50% or the full 100%, but I'll get to that later on. Now since the main melody is done, let's add some bells. The bells that I'm going to be using are from Nexus preset pack called Trap Gold. So let's go to piano roll and make a nice melody. Alright, so here are the two patterns that I've made. If you are wondering how I made the notes kind of offset, I just held Alt and used right mouse click to free drag the notes. You can also get this effect by clicking on this arrow, then selecting Tools, and then click on Strum. Now that that's out of the way, let's add a lead. I got this lead from the same Cold Beats expansion pack. And here's how the piano roll looks like. I ended up adding a second lead that I got also from the same pack, and the pattern is exactly the same as for the first lead. Now that we're done with the melodies, it's time to add some drums. Usually I start with adding clap and the snare. The clap and snare have almost the same pattern, except the snare has one more note after the fourth bar. After I add a hi-hat, since Menoh doesn't often use crazy hi-hat rolls, we will be using 1/6 beat and 1 second step snap grid. And the hi-hat pattern is fairly simple. Now it's time to add 808s. I will be using 808 called Trophies from KBZ's Drumkit Pacific Rim. Since we are going for bouncy drums, the distance between notes is going to be fairly short, as well as ranging from A sharp to F sharp notes. I made two different 808 patterns, and here's how they look. Now what's left is percussion. Chant after every second and sixth bar. A vox at the end of the pattern. Right after first and fifth bar. A shaker after every second bar. And finally I added this gunshot sound effect at the beginning of every bar. Now it's time to add everything to the playlist and master everything. I usually start the beat off with just the main melody for the first 8 bars. Then after 8 bar, I add some 808s, hi-hats, claps, snare, and one percussion sound. And after that, when the kick comes in, I usually add the second melody, which in our case will be the bells. In the hook, I usually leave the main melody with claps, hi-hats, and sometimes kicks. Like I mentioned before, I add a gross beat automation, and you can do that by going to Mixer, selecting the melody, and right click on the knob that's next to gross beat, and click Create Automation Clip. Now you're able to control the amount of gross beat effect in your playlist. As you can see, I have it set on 100% on the first hook, and on 50% on the second hook, and for 2 more 8 bars after that. I did the same thing to master volume, and in the last 8 bars I decreased the volume to 0 so that the beat just doesn't cut off, but it kind of fades out. And that's going to be it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed and gained some knowledge about how to work with FL Studio and got an in-depth overlook how it all works. If I missed some stuff or you're curious about how something works in FL Studio, be sure to leave it in the comments, like and share this video, and I will let the full beat play right now.
She be good.